What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another character review for you, and it's that Negasonic Boom. So she's been out for a bit as far as offers go. We got the milestone event coming up shortly. So I figured we want to know how good her stats are and what this character is like. So we want to know if we really want to go hard after those milestones. Xforce seems to be a pretty good team, and I think we're probably going to want her at a decent level. But let's check out the abilities, touch on the T4s, not Yeti and Punk style, but just touch on them. And then more importantly, dive into her stats. All right, let's do it. Bring me WolverThor. Okay, first up is her basic. Attack primary target for 290% damage. With the T4 upgrade, that boosts it another 50%. This is seems to be a third turn ability, so not sure the T4 on that's going to make a huge difference, and we'll check on her damage. So unless her damage is like top 5-10, you're probably not touching that. Her special, it is called Particle Charge. Attack primary and adjacent targets for 240% damage and clear 3 positive effects from each target. This attack cannot be blocked. So it's a nice little mini AoE, just in a primary whoever's next to it situation. This seems to be a turn 2 ability. The T4s here increase the damage to the primary and adjacent targets by 60%, and more importantly, it clears all positive effects from each target. So that's probably a T4 worth doing. You really like when you got the guaranteed all positive effect clear, assuming the focus is high enough. Something we'll look at here shortly. The ultimate. This is the first turn ability here. And I didn't mention it, but by the way, I'm using the Ultron bot to look at these. And you should definitely have it on your Discord if you don't already. The Ultron bot's telling us that the Negasonic ultimate is called Warhead. Attack all enemies for 300% damage and apply heal block for 2 turns. On War Offense, clear defense up on all targets. On War Offense, clear defense up on all targets. First turn ability, get rid of defense up on all targets. You want to know when she's going to be doing that. It appears based on the videos we've been seeing, and I haven't played with her too much yet. I got her, but she's low level, resource starved, and waiting for those symbiote milestones. But she will be doing this early on against those Asgardians to get the defense up out of there. The T4 upgrade is an additional 60% damage. That's pretty solid, unless her damage is terrible, because it's applied to all enemies. So that might be something you consider. Not necessarily, but it depends. Her passive. Ticking Time Bomb. On spawn, bury yourself for 10% of this character's max health. So you'll want her health to be high. On enemy turn, bury yourself for 5% of this character's max health, plus fill speed bar by 10%. So every time an enemy goes, she's going to get more barrier and fill her speed bar by 10%. So she gets to go, go, go. If this character has barrier, gain 20% armor. On War Offense, on spawn, fill speed bar by 10% plus 5% per Xforce ally. That's why you're seeing her go first in some of these videos, because they're being shown on War Offense. Gain 30% damage, and Xforce allies also gain that 30% damage. The T4s in this ability is an extra 10% armor and an additional 20% damage for herself and Xforce allies, but only on War Offense. So if you're really into War Offense or War in general, this probably becomes something you really need to do. 20% extra damage is a lot. And you know what? War being a game mode where you really need to get resources for based on where everything's at in the game, this is probably going to be one of those that's really going to push you up high on the list. And that's something that you really want to decide for yourself when we do these rankings is, am I a war player or not? And is the ability we're talking about upgrading a war type ability? Sometimes those things get a little bit confusing, but again, a lot of resources come through war, so you definitely kind of want to think about that and consider doing those for that purpose. Anyway, now we've said that, we've gone through the abilities, we know her T4 upgrades. Let's go look at the stats. Okay, for those of you who are not aware, I have this giant stat sheet where I take all the stats from msdef.gg based on a particular baseline. That baseline is level 70, 7 yellow stars, 0 red stars, T11, and 1% Stark Tech. Also passive level 4. And this is based off of msf.gg stats. I will note in the next, hopefully today actually, later today, I will be upping this baseline more than likely to level 75, keep the 7 yellows, but 3 or 4 reds, T13, maybe 14, and 25% Stark Tech and passive level 4. It's just getting to that point in the game where those things are going to be more critical to understand. So anyway, I've got all these all these stats in here, and then I rank them based on the character. And then I sort the ranking at first by an average rank so that you know really on a stat basis who is the highest ranked soon. And so I'll scroll down here, and I've got Negasonic highlighted in a teal color. You'll see Domino, we did a character review not too long ago. They're in yellow. She's at 34. Got X23. Spoiler, she's going to be coming up here in the next few days that I'll do a video on her. And then we got Negasonic. She comes in at 78. So a little underwhelming there as far as the stats go, but more importantly, we care about her damage. And then also you got to remember that some of that damage is increased with T4s, etc. So let's see exactly where she comes at with the specific stats. Health, she comes in at rank 71, rank 78, 71,000 health. That's okay, you know, you'd like it to be higher for the barrier, but hopefully she's getting enough to survive. That's really what you want from her. That does concern me a little bit, but if she can survive, that's really what we need. And especially with an Xforce team, it's like, who's taunting? Nobody. You know, Domino's not taunting, Deadpool's not taunting, Cable's not taunting, and X23's not taunting. So you need Negasonic to stay alive. Damage, this is the big one. She's ranked 30th. That's not bad, and you've got the percent increases that you can get there, but I would have liked to see that be a bit higher. You know, especially on a purely war offense team, you're not really going to get her going in other spots. If this damage falls short, this team is probably going to fall short. The next part we really need to see her is the focus, but we'll get to that in a second. So 74-59 at that baseline. Armor, 32, ranked 32, 45-35. Not bad. You know, again, that'll help her survive a little bit. Focus. All right, so she comes in ranked at 57 on focus with 1631. But this is not factoring in another part of this team's focus increase. So I'm pretty good with this. I think it'll be quite fine. If you're not familiar with where she gets that focus from, the focus comes from X23. And I think the base is like 60%, and then if you put T4s into it, it's 80. So this focus here is going to go up by 60%. So I mean, let's just do this in formula real quick. I'll speed up, and I'm going to put an initial 60% on this. So that jumps it up to 2610. And let's just scroll around. All right, that's higher than Cyclops. That's higher than Psylocke. That's higher than Mr. Fantastic. It's higher than Loki. It's pretty stinking high. Mr. Sinister, Ironheart. I'm really looking for the highest focus in the game, and that is Pyro. Let's find Pyro. I mean, that's comparable with Pyro there. So Pyro's at 2406. Negasonic would be higher than that at 2016. So it's pretty good. So her focus should be just fine, assuming you've got X23 in there. So something to note. Resistance is pretty low, 112, 1336. Again, I'm not sure that matters too much unless you got a slow. Her speed, 116. The rank is 116. The speed itself is 90. That's not something that I necessarily love there, but again, with the speed boost or the speed bar boost that's coming in from this team, it shouldn't necessarily matter as long as she gets to go first. And you've got her passive there, so she's getting that first turn alt. And that's really what's key there. Overall, she's ranked 78th, and her average ranked among those stats is around 70. And that seems to be about right. She's, you know, just this average-ish character with a high damage, decent armor, her speed bar, even though she's low, gets increased based on her passive and some other of her Xforce allies bringing it faster. Cable. And her health is just okay. Wish that was a little bit better, but it is what it is. So those are the stats we've got for Negasonic there. I think you guys can see those all okay. Let's do a little bit of an outro here, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. All right, so Negasonic, again, her stats aren't as great as I would have liked them to be for a purely war offense type team. If you're going to use a team just 3 times a week, you want them to really make sure that they get their job done. You don't want to mess with RNG too much. So if her damage, or if she's not surviving, the focus is, again, we talked about the focus, but it should clear those defense down or defense ups. You want those war offense teams to really kind of make sure they shine and don't cause you problems, because you're more likely to invest in those teams if it's closer to a guaranteed win. I mean, I'm okay with some RNG in this aspect, but if you've got a purely war offense team, which this team seems to be, because some of the abilities they're getting is where they're going to shine, you want to guarantee that win, or darn near come close to it if the punch-up's reasonable. So that's my concern here. I haven't played with her a ton. I really want to see it with X23 and the whole team built together. That's why I haven't messed with her yet, on top of the Symbiote Spider-Man milestones like I mentioned. But you know, the way that War's getting set up is that you've got a war defense team that gets kind of negated in a few months. So you really want to make sure when you get those war offense teams that they're built strong enough to be able to beat the teams that you want them to beat. So from my point of view, at this point in time, I think it's important to get those war offense teams built up, especially if you're into war or war in general. If you're not into war at all, don't worry about it. Just put whoever you want in there. Who cares? Get them low. You don't really care one way or another. So I hope this has helped you guys. If you want to come by the Discord, you know, links in the description below. Chat with me about this type of stuff. We've got a $100 giveaway coming soon, so make sure to come to the Discord and check that out. It's to celebrate the 5,000 subscriber mark, 2 years of the channel, all kinds of different stuff. And I want to, it's a big thank you back to you guys for, you know, just coming and kind of joining the channel, chatting with me, you know, just doing all this stuff together. I want to kind of say thanks back. So anyway, that's all I got for the day. Share with your alliance mates, hammer down on the like button, notification bells, subscriptions, all that good things. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.